Good morning friends, Namaskar, Sat Sri Akal and Adab. This is my 251st video and this is also on Excision. Now we will go from the modalities which were made in 2021. Now there was another letter moved by the station or the army headquarters. It had gone to all the commands, southern, western, eastern, central, northern, and what does this letter say? So the Quartermaster General Land Branch of the Army Headquarters sending this letter. He is sending some guidelines for excision of civil areas in cantonment. Now what is this? So the proposal of the excision of civil area in the cantonments, a copy is attached. A committee headed by the Joint Secretary Lands and Works in the MOD asked to look into the details of the proposed modalities of excision of civil area, which I have just talked to you in my earlier video, in Cantt, has been established. And the preliminary brief is that 10 Cantts have already been completed. Fine, I have told that in that. As per the committee, the PCB and the CEO have to forward a detailed proposal regarding lands, immovable assets, which they intend to retain for their functional purpose. Now here there is a little switch. He says for their functional purpose. The proposal being prepared should deliberately consider all points as laid down in the proposed modality. As mentioned in para 1 above, few of the important aspects that need to be considered while preparing the proposal are given here para-wise. Now the army is influxing its own conditions in the proposed modalities of 2021. What are those now? A. Transfer of defence land free of cost. As per the expectation of the Ministry of Defence and policy, there is no provision to transfer defence land for free of cost. In addition, the cost of land and movable and immovable assets on the land far exceeds the value, the liabilities of the cantonment board. Now here the department is saying that the Ministry of Defence is saying that this land cannot be transferred. It needs to be transferred or to be given in the excision area on an EVI basis. Now what is this EVI basis? Presently is not known to me. Either I know that there was an STR basis or an AVR basis. So it is something new, EVI basis. It's a new concept, whether it is on collector rate and sometimes or what is it, I don't know. Ownership of vacant defence land. All vacant defence land is to be retained, he says. Nothing needs to be given to the excised area. Why? Will the civil authority just take your liabilities? He says yes. C, he says change of allocation of land. Though OGB's lease bungalows being transferred to the state government will remain under the MOD. You transfer the bungalow area and the civil area, which the modalities are saying, but yet it will remain under the MOD. State government has been given the powers to change the allocation of that. This may lead to property being sold to developers and builders. Now let's say I have a 9-acre property. I am in civil area transferred from the cantonment board or the DO's hands. Now I'll sell, because change of allocation is allowed by the state government now. So I will what do is change my allocation and I'll sell my property 9 acres to a builder. He'll be making buildings on it. So there's the same to be restricted. So the construction cannot be done more than the FCI fixed by the cantonment board. So here again the excision is taking place, but with riders. I don't know why people are so excited about excision. So Ministry of Defence, Government of India is only trying to play table tennis with us. We are a ball, both the executives are holding the legislative and the executive, and they are just hitting us. We are not being transferred from the central pool under the constitution. We will remain there, only we will be subjected to the state laws. Under what proviso? Maybe some article of the constitution. Now 50% sharing of income from disposable of these properties. Same rider, he goes by it. He says yes, the department will, the local authority wants to convert any old grant or leasehold property into freehold. The money remunerated, 50% will be reimbursed. Why would it do it? What will be the land value which will be driven? So this entire proposal seems to be a kind of a liability. And honestly speaking, even the Dave report in 1955 was speaking something like this. So our mind has not changed from 55 to 2021 or as on date. Liabilities of Cantonment Board, now he says. They must be clearly highlighted through a comparative table, and the Cantt board liabilities are a minuscule as compared to the cost of movable immovable assets and the cost of land. Let's say a liability of the Cantonment board is 100 rupees. The PCB or the army headquarters is presuming that this land value which is being transferred, let's say 150 acres were transferred to Umbala, is much more than the liability. So if it is much more, you retain it, na? Why do you want to shun us to the civil municipality? For last 100 years you didn't do it. Now all of a sudden after 100 years when all leases are getting expired, you want to do it, because 1937 last lease would expire by 2030 at the most. Now space free from construction, it gives another rider. All areas which are being transferred needs to remain as open space devoid from any future expansion or construction, has to be clearly indicated on map of the state government or the municipality. Security concerns may be considered by the President Cantt board or the station headquarters, and a buffer zone has to be created and emphasized by the both departments. That's the Ministry of Defence and the local municipal authority. So we are again restricted by the army that, guys, look, we will freehold your property, we will excise your bungalow or your civil area, but neither you will be allowed to construct on it, neither you will be allowed to increase your FSI area. So what are we doing? Now service condition of employees, which I don't need to get into, area which should not be excised. Emphasis has been laid. The army headquarters is laying a stretch emphasis. He says all OGB lease bungalows which are required to be resumed in further uses of the military use should not be excised. This is a clear-cut instruction that please bungalow owners, take it in your thick belt line. All leftover bungalows will be resumed and we will be converted into a military station. Or ask them the new rentals through the STR rate. The lease money is being done. So that's it. So no A2, B3, B4 land which is justified for the uses of the army will be transferred. No vacant land within the civil area will be allowed to construct. Trenches, ground, waste disposable areas will remain what they are. Any pocket of class C land surrounded within the defence lands will be in proportion to the Ministry of Defence. So retention of Cantt buildings. So again he says if there is any cantonment building like schools, hospitals, try and retain them and do not denotify the cantonments. Why do not denotify the cantonments? So it is something like 1934, what happened in Ambala? We will take you back in 1941. So 2024 we will excise you, maybe 2040 we will again take you back in cantonment. So the government is actually with no proposal, no vision is working. It is only heckling the entire system on these two findings. Maintenance of roads, excise area, acceptable, who will do it, who will not do it. If it is once again reiterated that the proposal must be clearly highlighted that excision of civil area will be fast tracked subject to the above conditions and the acceptance of the state government. Friends, understand why again and again in all letters it is saying that this is time bound, timeline, Prime Minister wants it. So the excision, the colonial mindset, yeah, 100 years you didn't realize, it's been 1947 and date. Now all of a sudden you realize that there was a colonial mindset. Bloody fool's paradise. And these men in uniform think that we people are idiots. We civilians don't know the law of the nation. You know, civil area, you are actually being thrown like a dustbin. The garbage bin is thrown along the dustbin. It's not that the garbage is being thrown. It's not the civilian population which is being thrown out of this cantonment. Civil population along with the civil land areas is being thrown out. But your land rights are not being given, even to the state government. Now something when the state does not have, again when it has to take a grant from the central ministries, it is very clearly that if the land does not belong to the state or to the subject, the grant does not move in. So there was a special order under the urban ministry, urban development ministry at that time, I remember in 2011-12. What are we all doing? So Colonel Q Land MG of the headquarters is signing this letter, and this letter is quite contrary to the 2021 proposal which I just discussed in my video earlier. So if we people can wake up, we may land up somewhere. If we don't want to wake up, makes a hoot to me. I'm not disturbed. You know, I know how to fight my case. I know how to fight myself. So I'm not much bothered about people up there. But my concern is only when in 2003 my hands were shivering, I was trembling because of my resumption notice, which I couldn't spell cantonment well. I do not want that same thing to happen to bungalow owners. Please watch me and follow me on my YouTube channel and forward these YouTubes to anybody in your cantonments and educate them. Thank you. Good day.